John chapter 5 verse 1 to 16, the healing of the man at Bethesda. Jesus is going up to Jerusalem. After this there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. This going up is a pattern on earth imaging the heavenly structure. The dotted line up here is the uncreated, unknowable realm of the Godhead, Father, Son and Spirit. Beneath this, the created spiritual realm, inhabited by angelic beings. And down at the bottom, the material realm, inhabited by terrestrial beings, humans. It's such a basic structure, a simple upper and lower ordering of reality proceeding from the Creator above. And the Creator from above made flesh. Jesus is now going up to Jerusalem, up to the holy place on earth, the city of God. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. The theme of water runs on from Jacob's well in the previous chapter. There we saw a single woman seeking spiritual healing. This time we see a whole multitude with numerous forms of ailment, waiting for the moving of the water. It sounds like a truly pitiable sight. We come to the holy city expecting perfection, and we find many in sickness and pain. It makes you think of the Holy One coming into our world. What must our society seem to God? For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whatsoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. So in the angel we have a spiritual being from the spiritual realm entering the material to move the waters and heal the sick. And the troubling of the waters reminds us of the waters in Genesis, with the Spirit hovering over it. The angel is not named though. Could be a bad angel, who knows? Well, Jesus knows. He is the true one from above, the only begotten Son of God, God in the flesh, not a created being like the angel, but from the uncreated realm, the very Logos of John 1:1, and from him all thought and order proceed. He makes it possible for me to draw this triangle, and for you to know what it is. Isn't that amazing? These conceptual and corporeal patterns and structures that we recognise all around us are brought into existence by Christ. He is King over all things, and he is among people who need him most, yet they know him not, and they seek the angelic movement of the water. The bitter irony of having the true angel of the Lord among them and not knowing it. And this little scene can be taken as a microcosm of the world today. Are many not now lying helpless, awaiting an angel to rescue them? We all feel incomplete in some way. Whole industries are built up on exploiting this for profit. Cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, therapists, politicians, celebrities, all vying to be the angels that will bring healing. And the pool of water is an in-between sort of realm. A further repetition of above-below, of being between two worlds. A fitting scene for the angel bringing the spiritual into the material. And of course the bigger picture of the Logos living and walking among us. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. 38 years. What a long time. Do you want to be made well, he is asked. It's a big question. Is it the case that all who are unwell want to be made well? There's a drawing of the man's agency into this. Does he want to be healed? A question of faith. Jesus is asking us, do you want to be healed? He wants to do it for us. I have no man, the crippled man says to Jesus, to the Son of Man. And Jesus saith unto him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. And just like that, the man is up on his feet. 38 years of paralysis gone. The word of God has power over creation. Just as creation in Genesis is spoken into existence by God, Jesus is now speaking a new creation into existence, recreating tissue in that man's leg just through his voice. It's amazing. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. So the lame man had a one-to-one encounter with Christ, and it just blew away his infirmities. We see a dark tone here with the observance that this took place on the Sabbath. The religious elite of Jerusalem enforced the Torah law to the letter, yet the Logos, the founder of the law, is among them, and they know him not. They are so stuck to their law, and instead of being amazed at the miracle of this healed man, who they must have known, they're incensed that he's carrying his mat. There's an almost comedic irony in the so-called men of God attacking the miracles of God as blasphemous acts. The religious elites become their own gods with their own knowledge. Following this pattern we've already established, they build their own towers and citadels in their own images. We see it today among Christian elites who put the earthly principles above the word of God. They bow before the towers of this earth. Today in our secularised age, we think we are the pinnacle, the highest form of being. And the Pharisees showed a similar thoughts. They interrogate the healed man to find out who it was who healed him. They are enraged, but the man knew not who it was because Jesus had disappeared from them. How true that they are blinded to who Jesus is. He is distant from them. They who proclaim their closeness are the furthest away. As Jesus says elsewhere, he who humbles himself will be exalted, and he who exalts himself is humbled. Afterward Jesus findeth him in the temple, and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. Jesus tells him to sin no more, lest a worse fate befalls him, raising the suggestion that the man's condition may be caused by sinning. And Jesus is lifting our attention from the physical to the spiritual, that sin will lead to a malady far worse than any earthly trouble, final damnation. And Jesus finds the man in the temple, presumably thanking God for his healing. It's so weird to think of Jesus in the temple, the place on earth where man meets God, and here actually is God, in the flesh, in the temple. It's amazing. And therefore did the Jews persecute Jesus and sought to slay him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. Imagine that. The holy men of the city want to kill the Son of God. The contrast is stark. Similarly, today we turn from God and the things of God. The thing we need the most, we attend to the least. In society, we kill the things of God. We stamp them out. In the next section, we see Jesus explicitly reveals that he is the Son of God, God in the flesh, the uncreated and eternal Logos who was in the beginning, co-eternal and co-equal with the Father. Will they still want to kill him then?